Confessional, you have no idea how long and how many times I've tried to record this video. You just don't know. 안녕하세요. 내 사랑의 TV의 blue-eyed, green-eyed black girl 저는 Elisha'입니다, aka ENF2. And I have with me today another episode, in fact, the second episode of Dramas in Your Pocket. Dramas in Your Pocket. Dramas in Your Pocket. Anywho's, they're so in my pocket that I even have a pocket notebook upside down. No, pocket notebook that I wrote notes on while I watched this episode. And this is the second episode of Uncontrollably Fond. And you guys, it was already good. And it's getting better. So, please, before watching this, spoiler alert, please, because I recorded it, probably 5 times earlier today, or attempted to record it 5 times earlier today. I noticed that a lot of things, if you read too much into what I'm saying, you might feel like they're totally spoilers. So, if you haven't watched the second episode, please go watch it. And so, we can, really, discuss this second episode in the comment section down below, or in all my social medias. Please go check them out if you want to. Hey, I'm on Twitter for sure, Facebook sometimes, and on Instagram, so go check those out if you want to. But let's just get into what happened in episode 2 of Uncontrollably Fond. We ended episode 1 with Jun Young questioning and confronting Ul. And he basically said, "Do not know who I am, do not remember me, don't you know me?" And in that sense of the words, I'm not sure exactly how he worded them, but the way he said it prior to the episode ending made it sound like either she had forgotten him, or she was trying to keep herself so composed and professional that she was ignoring their past, or I don't know, something along those lines. But of course she answered before it cliffhangered us. Thank goodness it didn't cliffhanger us at that moment, but she said finally at the end, "I know who you are, you jerk. Of course I know who you are, you jerk." So that means, or it makes you think, what the heck happened to make them this way? Why did their lives turn so much into this? Because when we get into the flashback, because the episode 2 starts off with a flashback. I believe it said 2006. So that means either 10/9 years prior to present day when Uncontrollably Fond is supposed to be happening. So I'm going to say 10 years in the future, because I don't think I'm that far behind. So 10 years in the past is when they knew each other or first met each other. And the flashback, of course, helps us develop the character who we already either love or understand. I don't think we hate either of the characters since watching the first episode. So we go into the second episode getting to learn them more. And it starts off with them in a light way, or rather pure innocence. You see both of their characters have pure hearts, or a fight for justice, a need to fight for justice, because Jun Young's character sees a girl. Well, we don't see this, but we hear this in the storytelling, that Jun Young's character sees a girl in need and basically defends her against 3 guys who we later find out have money and get him suspended, and they don't get suspended. And with Ul's character, we find that she has a friend that's either being bullied or teased. It could be the same girl as what's going on with Jun Young's character, but she's gonna go to school and defend her, is what has been told in the storyline. And prior to that, she's stopping one of the neighborhood kids from purchasing goodies from her dad, as in whatever merchandise or food cart that he has. she's telling her neighborhood kid that he doesn't have to buy anything because it's free for him, because she understands his family situation. She doesn't say that to him. She more or less defends it when her dad's agitated at her stopping his sale. So, like, she says that he has family issues and he can't necessarily pay for it, or he shouldn't, because his family's struggling right now. He doesn't have the money to do the extra stuff. So I like that. So we see that they're kind and they're sweet, and the darkness that has happened in episode 1 has yet to touch their souls, or has yet to touch their lives, while being in episode 2, or the flashback of 10 years ago. Like I said, there was a confrontation between Ul and her father, and we get to see him and his personality, and we get to meet him for the first time, because he was not in episode 1. And from what we gather in episode 1 is that he's no longer with us. Either he's in a retirement home and like a hospital, or he has passed away, is what I would like to understand. In fact, I really understood that from the first episode. I'm not usually one to actually grasp a lot from an episode, but since I said I wanted to discuss and talk about this with you guys, I like really got into it, and I was like, she's taking care of her kid brother. She said that in episode 1. So that means dad's not there anymore, and most likely that means that mom's not there anymore. So, yeah, that's happening. As we go on in the episode, we see Jun Young has been suspended. We already know that from like minutes before. But his mother goes to the principal's office, or whoever is in high power at the school, and basically begs for him to not be suspended, because her goal in life, or she sees that his dream is to be a prosecutor, and that would be a blemish on his life. And my thoughts are, does she have ulterior motives for wanting him to be a prosecutor? I really thought this, like, they're making so much out of this. Is she basically, is it her dream for him to be a prosecutor? Speaking of prosecutors, the great handsome prosecutor of episode 1, who didn't really make sense in episode 1, starts to make sense in episode 2. And my next note says that Jun Young believes that his father is dead. Don't read too much into that, because I'm not attempting to make you read too much into that, but I'm just saying, his uncle, who has a big mouth, and we find out is actually his uncle, because Jun Young's mom called him Oppa in the previous episode, and I wasn't sure if that meant that that was her love interest, or someone that she treats and thinks of as a brother, or her actual brother, because, and to me, Oppa means all those things, or could mean all those things. So I didn't get the confirmation in episode 1 if he was actually literally blood, and he is literally blood, her older brother, and he has a big mouth. And so I'm he told stuff that shouldn't have been told, especially by him, and I'm trying to figure out why is he telling it all of a sudden. And what did I say? Jun Young believes that his father is dead, so he was agitated by the situation of him being in the police station, and his uncle goes in there defending him and saying, wait till you hear from his father and stuff like that. Like, seriously, guys, there might be spoilers in here. I don't even know myself. I think I need to watch the 3rd episode to actually get there. Also, I wanted to say, not only did it take me so long and so many tries to actually record this, but it also took so long to get here, because I watched this episode 3 days ago or 2 days ago, and I wanted to record basically right after I watched it and wrote the notes. Like, it literally says I watched episode 2 on the 8th of this month, and today is the 8th? Today's the 12th, you guys. So yeah, 4 days ago. Yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of sad, but yeah. So I literally watched episode 2 the night after I watched episode 1. please go watch my reaction to, or my discussion of episode 1. My review on episode. Thank you. The word is review. My review on episode 1. It should be down here somewhere, or recommended or suggested. Anywho's, so I haven't even gotten that far in, but I'm gonna try to rush the rest of this. So, there's a flashback inside of the flashback. Like, WTF? Like, okay, so the flashback basically is the original flashback is basically showing the characters as they are, and also showing them interacting with each other. But the flashback inside of the flashback is actually Junyoung and Ul meeting for the first time, or actually interacting with each other for the first time. And it's comfortable, and as you get more into the flashback, but when you first start it, you're kind of confused as to why there's a flashback inside of a flashback. Also, since it's a flashback inside of a flashback, and it's supposed to be, I believe, 2006, if not 2008. I can't really remember what I read, but their cell phones I question the cell phones, like, how up to date were their cell phones in 2006? Because some of them don't look like the cell phones that we had, and I had in 2007. That's when I first got my first cell phone, and I had a flip phone. And these don't look like the little brick phones that they had in my lifetime, or the flip phones that I had in my lifetime. So I was like, were they not able to get the authentic 2006, 2007, 2008 phones? Or did they actually have that in Korea, since I didn't live there 2006, 2007, 2008? So I questioned the cell phones. Anywho's, spoiler alert, there's a really, like, this question would be bigger if I knew that I was gonna write it right there, and if I knew that it was gonna hit me with so much emotion at this point, but I kind of knew it was coming. The question at the bottom-ish area is, so this car didn't see this man and this cart. Like, she didn't see, or this person did not see this person and a cart. They had a cart. How do you not see? You either are drunk or distracted to not see a person in a cart crossing the road. It irked the heck out of me, you guys. And I said that's the end of the first half, and I did not cry. Greetings, ma'am. And I actually did cry. Hey. I said this is the end of the first half, and I did cry. I actually cried because it's very emotional for me, especially, but I mean, I'm relating everything I watch really to what's going on with my life at this moment. And I'm very sensitive, so even if I wasn't going through what I'm going through right now, that point would have probably made me cry. But then again, it's a second episode, and I'm not really that indebted to these characters yet. They aren't my life right now, but it's such a good show, I might have cried. So that's the end of the first half. Now on to the second page, because there's 3 pages, if you guys didn't know. Now we're starting the second half, and that's like technically like 28 minutes in. So if you guys are watching it right now with me, please don't. Like I said, there's possible spoilers in here. So like, yeah, get on with it. And we're 14 minutes in, and watch the whole episode before you finish this video. So I have wrote at the top the first question. So is the prosecutor up for the highest bid? And then the next one is Ani, Heart of Gold, question mark. As in, I wasn't sure if he's up for the highest bidder, because that's what it seemed like in that scene right after the second half begins. And then he's in another scenario with Junyoung, and it seems like he's more innocent. So I'm confused about his character. Like, I can't wait to watch the third episode to see if we get any answers about his actual relationship in this storyline. Then I wrote Ul's storyline from flashback to the character that she is right now in her career in the present time totally makes sense. Like, is this story based on real life, like someone's actual storyline in real life? Like, is this someone's reality, or are these characters just really quality developed? Like, it seems actually believable. Every scene, every character, well, the two main characters definitely makes sense. Mom, not so much makes sense to me yet. But yeah, I really asked, is this like based on a real life story? There was one scene as we get into the second half that totally ticked me off. I was like, did Jun Young really make this girl move? She was sitting there first. I use public transit a lot, and if someone asked me to move and I was sitting there first, heck no. You make her move or something. I was sitting here first. It really ticked me off. I really wrote that. It ticked the heck out of me. Okay. After that, I said, what the hell is wrong with Jun Young? Is he crazy? Trying to prove a point? The situation is different than the past. I have no clue. I feel like I need to re-watch it because it's been 3 days since I've watched this episode. Now I can't remember what these are all based off. But comment down below if you know what I was talking about, and if you have anything to say to stand up for him, or if you're on the same level as me and think that he was crazy with whatever he did. So many factors you know of that make it not, so it's not like the past. There's so many factors in this episode that make it seem like a believable past, and makes it seem like it could have happened in the present, is what I believe I was trying to say with this statement. I feel so horrible that I can't remember what my notes were about. How do we get to the present? So curious. Yes, I am so very curious, as in I hope they explain some of it in episode 3. As in, we see Jun Young and Ul's interactions and their bits and pieces of their flashback life, their past life in this episode. And how do we get to what's really going on in the present? Because he kind of seems iffy, Jun Young's character, towards Ul and her past. But towards the end of the episode, you see his heart of gold again, and like how touching and how determined and how like faithful he is to getting his goals done, and again fighting for justice. So I'm so curious as to see how we get back to episode 1, or how we get to how he's a jerk. Hey. And I definitely am coming up with I'm definitely coming up with plenty of conclusions. I hope you are too. This has now been almost 20 minutes of me just babbling about Uncontrollably Fond, and I hope that you liked it, and I hope that you really write something down in the comment section below, because I wanted to discuss this with somebody, and Oni's not even watching this. So yeah, please. So this one scene at like 47 minutes in was a little tough for me to watch. I seriously just went through that with my appa. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but if you go back to like about 47 minutes in, at that heart-wrenching moment Yeah, I literally went through something like that with Ne Apogee. And now I'm finally on page 3, which is the last of it. Where I question stuff like, is the great handsome prosecutor a conflicted man or soul? Is he a conflicted soul? Engagement? What engagement? What's really going on? That was mentioned, and that was like, what the what? Basically, moment for me. And yeah, I freaked out so much about the engagement statement. I was like, maybe Drama Fever translated that wrong. So I was like, but this episode's been out for a few weeks to maybe a few months. So either people that know the Korean language and can translate probably would have mentioned this to them. So maybe it's not a mishap on Drama Fever's behalf. And who's with who? I guess that's meaning towards the prosecutor. And we, at more than one point in this episode, dive out of the flashback. But this is towards the end, and Jun Young's present day is saying statements that Ul is not the same person she was in her past. And from what I've seen in the flashbacks and what I've seen of her present day, she seems pretty much the same, except for she tried to ignore her past with him just to get on with her job. Or if that was actually her ulterior motive, is just to get a better job, and that's why she was egging him on about doing the biography. But we'll see. I can't wait to watch it. And since he was saying that she's not the same, I was trying to figure out if he was possibly in denial and saying she's not the same person that I was in love with back then. She's a different girl. She's not who I know, even though she actually is. I don't know. I think that he might be in denial. And or has she somehow changed? Is she different from before? Is she more fragile? Because I could kind of possibly see that she might be. But like I said, to me, she seems like the exact same character as she was back when they were teenagers. And like I literally said, is she more fragile? Like you, Jun Young? Because if you watch this episode, and definitely watch first episode, like seriously, why am I talking to you if you're not watching Uncontrollably Fond? He's, to me, gotten fragile, and there's reasons and situations why he's gotten fragile. Could be the reason that his mom's not talking to him. It could be his mom's not talking to him, and that's why he's more fragile. Anywho's, it's your favorite K-pop, K-world, K-drama fandom trainee, just a trainee. I want to talk to you guys about this, so get with dramas in your pocket. They're in my pocket, because this is my phone that I watch my dramas on, and now in your pocket because I'm talking to you via YouTube, and like it can be in your pocket. So today's another day to do better. I'll do better, you do better. 사랑해.